Okay, the last method that we're going to use on how to prove triangles congruent is by HL, which stands for hypotenuse leg. So if the hypotenuse and a leg of one right triangle, so that means somewhere you have to say, hey, by the way, this is a right triangle, is congruent to the hypotenuse and leg of another right triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So remember, hypotenuse, you cannot say it's the longest side because we don't have any measurements. So you have to know that it is the side opposite the right angle. So I know that BC is congruent to EF. That's the hypotenuse. And another leg. So if you remember, if this is the hypotenuse, then this is a leg and that is a leg. So I know that AB, in this case, is congruent to DE. Then I can say that the triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by hypotenuse leg. So you have to, somewhere in your proof, identify it as being a right triangle to start with. So again, a little reminder on what the definitions of hypotenuse and leg are, and then sample proofs. I'm stating right away in the given that you are given right triangles. So sometimes when it says this information, it will not show that right angle indicator, so it's always a good idea to make sure that that is there. And then it says that ML is congruent to MN. ML is congruent to MN, so that was also given. And we have two triangles that are side by side or back to back, however you want to look at it. MP is congruent to MP, or congruent to itself, by the reflexive property. So I know that because I have a right triangle, I just have to make sure that I have the hypotenuse, which I do, and I have a leg, which I do. So they are congruent by hypotenuse leg. And I probably should have gone up here and put the H for the hypotenuse and then put the L for the leg. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do this next one. So I know that the triangles are right angles. So triangle WVX and triangle YZX are right triangles. That is given. So WVX, and WZX, or YZX rather. So that means that there's a right angle and there's a right angle. Okay? I know that WV is congruent to YZ. WV is congruent to YZ by given. So if I'm looking at hypotenuse leg, what I just found is not opposite the right angle. So this must be a leg. And then I know that X is the midpoint of WY. So X is the midpoint of WY. So X is the midpoint of this piece, which means that those are congruent. So this was also given. So from there, I'm going to use that definition of midpoint and have WX then is going to be congruent to XY by definition of midpoint. And that is the hypotenuse. So there's my H. So I have my H and my L. So I have W, or triangle WBX is congruent to triangle YZX by hypotenuse leg. So where this is going is, remember that once I know that these triangles are congruent, then I know all the other parts are also congruent. So we will be talking about CPCTC once again.